What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Oshin. This is Oshin's View in the building. Willie Negro on the boards.
What up, what up, what up? What's good?
I'm chilling, man. Everything is what it is. Guys are still lying. Chicks are still falling for it. The world is just getting crazier by the day, minute, and hour.
Yeah.
So Eboni K Williams is at it again, I see. Because that was a piece of information that you passed along to me. So before I get, what was she talking about?
Nah, she just, I just saw a clip of her explaining, encouraging women to seek relationship early, like before they're done college and stuff like that, because she was, as she says, as men get older, more successful, their value goes up. Their value appreciates, and as women get older and maybe successful, their value depreciates. And I just think that it was spoken like a true older woman that's still beautiful and educated and successful, that struggles to find a man that's educated and successful. That just wants to acquiesce to her. You know what I mean? I think, but that's the problem for a lot of successful women. Like I said, hey man, they price themselves out of the market. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because you're looking for somebody that's equal to you, or far as financially and stuff like that, or that can afford you the type of lifestyle that you live or want to live, or something better. But as you get older, they have more options, and that's kind of what she was saying. They have more options, and they may not want you. They may want somebody maybe 10, 15 years younger than you. You know what I mean? So I just think older women, especially successful older women, even beautiful or not, they may have some struggles, and that's what she was saying. You might want to think about settling down younger. I don't know if that'll work, because I don't think men are ready younger.
My thing is this. The dating pool is, I'm starting to believe that it is as difficult as people are making it sound, because nobody's ever getting on the same page. The older you get, the harder it is to get on the same page. And this is what I mean by that. She was right about the whole depreciation of women as they get older. For example, I was just in the bathroom just now, handling my business before the show. And I looked in the mirror. I got some grays now, but I feel distinguished. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't look myself in the mirror and was just like, dang, getting older, such and such. No, I was like, oh, got them grays in now, because I've always felt like even at my age, I still felt like I was too young. Like, if that makes any sense. I was like, nobody's taking me serious, like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But now I got some grays, they can tap my feet a little bit. So, but in all seriousness, this theory of get on the same page as me, get on my level, I think that shit needs to get thrown to the wind. I'm going to tell you why, because it's not a winning formula. That is not a winning formula. Why is it once people have been dogged out, hurt, wasted their time in these relationships, where these epiphanies start to come in on what it is they really want? And why does it take for that to happen, for them to realize what it is that they really want? And the thing about it is, the problem that I have is people go through the rigmarole just for the sake of it, knowing what's out there or not. Now, if you're out there just to slap skins, then have at it. There's a percentage of women and guys out here that's only about that. But if you're claiming to want more out of a relationship and things, the question I like to ask is, what are you willing to do? Never mind, I'm not asking you to settle, But what I'm saying is, what is it that you're willing to do to make that relationship what it is? Because a lot of times, can only speak from a guy's perspective. A lot of time, women are trying to like fit themselves in your peg. You understand what I'm saying? Like they're trying to, well, what do you like? And this, that, and the third. And it's almost like in Coming to America, well, whatever you like. And guys that really understand that, they see right through it.
But I gotta give you a little bit pushback because you don't find out what you like until you go through something in life. Until you've been through something.
But how many times?
A lot. Like, because you have to go through some stuff. Like, that's why they say youth is wasted on the young, man. You spend your youth going through stuff, figuring out what you like and what you don't like, and what you can tolerate and what you won't tolerate. And then you look up and you may be 35, 36, 37 years old. And now you actually know what you want, and it's harder to get. You see what I'm saying? When you're youthful, it's easier to grab what you want, but you may not know exactly what you want. You got to have a little bit of life on you to understand what you want in life. You see what I'm saying?
I think you're talking. I agree with that, but I think you're also talking in terms of experience, of actual experience.
Right.
Okay, so I can go for that too, but a lot of times, for me personally, I've never really been on this death clock that women put themselves on. Because that's another thing too. You have a gender that has a clock, that they're a biological clock, and I'm not talking about fertility and stuff like that. I'm just talking about...
But it coincides though. It goes hand in hand.
Okay, it can coincide if that's what you want in terms of a child. So I'm trying to keep the child out of it because that's biological. That's science. That's anatomy and all that other stuff. I'm talking about in terms of, okay, Ben, I would tell you like this. So I go out this was a minute ago, well, years ago. And I go out, I like to slide, I meet a young lady or whatever. I knew how to corner that situation, you know what I'm saying? And so you can find out, look here, we going to slide tonight, and sliding is basically.
They said they called you the closer?
Pretty much. I was definitely was a closer.
Okay.
So, thing about it was this. I get back to this young lady's house and everything. So I'm looking like it's about to go down. This is how this go. She has this like, I don't want to say construction paper because it wasn't, but it was some type of paper you could write on and stuff or whatever. She had a 5-year plan up there. And she had a whole bunch of things on the 5-year plan, but she included marriage, kids, and some other stuff. So it's 2:33 in the morning. So I'm just looking like, I don't know what that sign don't mean nothing to me because that's your 5-year plan. We got a 45-minute plan about to happen here. And that's it. So we on there and the chick starts drawing on my chest. Now once she started drawing on my chest, I knew some silly shit was
She
coming
started
up.
drawing on your chest?
I know you don't think that I'm talking literal.
No.
Like, her finger, when they're rubbing your chest, it's just like this. That's what it's called, drawing on the chest. I don't mean she had a marker or nothing.
I understand,
okay,
but that's a little.
No, we're laying down.
Okay.
Because we didn't smack yet.
Okay.
So she's laying on me, and it's just like, so once she started doing that, I knew some silly shit was coming up. And so she starts talking about this is nice and all. I know I invited you to my house and everything, and I do like you, but I'm kind of done with the whole one night stand thing. So I'm sitting there looking like, as she's doing this, she's like, I'm done with the one night stand thing. Back in my mind, I'm like, evidently not, because I'm here. What? So then she keeps going, and it just gets progressively worse. Now, mind you, I don't even hit. Be honest, I don't even hit. She goes like this. She's like, yeah, I've already done the one night stand. I've done the threesomes, the girl on girl. She's giving me a rundown of all the freaky shit that she used to do.
You a crazy rundown and not giving you
and
nothing.
I ain't getting nothing, and she's still drawing. So that's when I took that hand and slightly moved it to the side and all that, but I was just looking like, yo. So at this point, since my night is ruined because I'm not getting no box, it's time for me to ruin her 5-year plan.
Hey, yo.
Or whatever. So I start at this point. I turn the lights on. Hey, what's this thing right here? Oh, that's my 5-year plan. She kind of gets up glowingly, such and such. I was like, this is not going to happen, right?
Hey, yo.
No, because
Why would you crush your dreams, yo?
First off, because she didn't give me no box. That's for one. Number 2, you're not going to write me over here, don't give me none, and then talk about your plans. I'm like, you not even giving it up, and you want that? Okay, so let me break this down, sister.
Oh, goodness.
I said, that 5-year plan you got, how you said graduate, get your master's. I said, you can do that because that only takes you. She had like 5 other things up there. Yeah, you can do that because that only needs you, requires you. Mm-hmm. Get married. I said, stop right there because you're going to have to find somebody that's ready at your time. And she was like, that's my goal. That's why I'm dating with a purpose. I said, dating with a purpose? I am here at 3 a.m. What purpose am I here other than the smack? And after we didn't even start arguing, but I kind of just started, I wanted the mood to be funky after that, because at that point, I'm like, I ain't getting none, and I'm never seeing her again at this point, so let me crush them dreams while she's doing it.
That's crazy.
Damn all that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, chicks, I'm just saying, y'all need to be intentional on what you want to do in life, because the whole thing is this, it's a lot of dudes, it's way more of y'all than guys. That's just the numbers, reality of the whole situation. And the fact of the matter is, you just gonna have to find somebody, as Eddie Murphy said, find somebody as effed up as you are, and y'all get together and love each other from there, ups, downs, sideways.
They don't be thinking that they messed up though. They don't be thinking they messed up. So I mean, nobody really thinks that they that messed up. So they looking for somebody that's that's on their level or above. You know what I mean? What they say, equally yoked. I don't even know what that means. But
every time somebody says equally yoked, I can't get past just seeing a vision of an egg in my damn head. And I know what it means, though. I know what it means.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying, the whole thing is this: finding somebody you're equal. It can't be, and we talked about this before. It can't be based off tangible things. And I think a lot of times that's what it is.
But
damn that money.
I think it's hard. And this is why I think it's hard. This is what I mean by people pricing themselves out of, especially women.
Yes,
because
hold up. Explain to people that beautiful term you came up with. What is it when you say a woman or a person? Because we're gonna be even. A woman or a man has priced themselves out the market.
No, I specifically say women because of this.
Try to help.
Because okay, if you say I want a man who drives a foreign car, I would say, do you drive a foreign car? And if the answer is yes, then I have no problem with you saying you want a man to drive a foreign car.
Okay.
If I want a man who can afford to live in this neighborhood, well, do you live in that neighborhood? If the answer is yes, then I have no problem with you saying you want a man that can afford to live in that neighborhood. The problem is when you do all of these things, you can afford all of these things, and you're an older woman, that man may not want you. You see what I'm saying? So like what Tyler Perry said, you may have to settle for somebody who can afford a lesser lifestyle than you can afford. You see what I'm saying? But what I always believe, the reason I say it's hard is because resentment comes in. Resentment always comes in from a woman to a man when a man can't provide at the level that they think that he should provide at. And if that level is beneath what she can do, resentment is always going to come in. I'm not saying that it won't work. What I'm saying is there is going to be times where that resentment is going to come in, and she's going to emasculate that man unintentionally. Like by saying stuff like, maybe sometimes something gets tight, or maybe she want to do something where she really going to need him to chip in a lot of money, but she know he can't. So she going to start saying things like, babe, maybe you should do this, or maybe if you did this, then you could do a little bit more of this. And women don't understand that sometimes that can make a man feel less. You see what I'm saying? Especially when, hey man, I'm busting my butt. I'm going out here. I'm making 80 grand a year. You make 280 grand a year. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, all right, but I make a decent salary. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I do. Like, I'm not asking for all of this. You asking for all of this. You see what I'm saying? The resentment always comes in because it's instinctual for a man to be a provider and for a woman to want a provider. You see what I'm saying?
The pursuit of happiness is exactly that. It's a pursuit. Mm-hmm. And I've told you before, I've always been fond of the bum ass couple. Because the bum ass couple, and by bum ass couple, I'm only talking finances. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean neither one of them work. Doesn't mean that they don't have a roof over their head. But they're not at a certain bracket. Mm-hmm. And they're having the best time ever. And you see, they make Hollywood movies about this exact 100%. Same thing. About the exact same thing. You got the woman over here who's making all this money, got all these resources at her fingertips, but her best friend, her girlfriend, has got whatever, the blue-collar guy or not, that may not be doing this. And next thing you know, she's trying to seduce the husband and things like that. Because it's like, how did you get this happiness? How did you... why is it you're so happy at this level and I'm making all this money, this, that, and the third? Now, I personally believe, can money give you happiness? To a degree, yes, I believe into that because money just affords you a certain level of independence. And we're not talking about the level of paying your bills and stuff like that. That's great. We're talking, I can just fly out anywhere I want to the thing about money is this: when you're able to do things at a moment's notice, that's when you know you're at a certain bracket that you can do things. Whatever that number is, because I believe everybody has a number that they will feel extremely comfortable with. And of course, you'll hear people say, well, I always want more. But you look at this couple over here, they're fine. You go on 7 trips a year, but you go on 7 trips a year by yourself. They going on 3 or 4 trips this year. And they having the time of their life. Or
they going on 1. Because what's going on is they growing together. You see what I'm saying? They're at a certain level. She hasn't been priced out of the market. She's at a lower level. He's at a lower level. They combine, they do things, and they grow together. You see what I'm saying? And in growing together, you experience life together. And bonds get stronger through experiences. You see what I'm saying? That's why people always look at that couple like, wow, they look like they having such a good time because they experiencing life on the same level together. You see what I'm saying? One of them is not up here and the other one is down here. They experiencing it at the same time together and they can grow together. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, it's a natural course for a man's income or wealth to grow, and then they can grow in it together like that. It is not a natural course for a woman's to grow exponentially faster than a man's. Once again, I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying it's harder because it's not natural. You see what I'm saying? So they look, that as you call them, the bum ass couple. Yeah, they look happy. They look wild happy because, hey man, they probably experienced broke times together. Then they experienced times with a little bit of money together. Then they gained a little bit more money together. You see what I'm saying? So they appreciate each other. And I'm telling you, a man always appreciates a woman that was around when he was broke. Because they understand that you really just wanted me, like you like me. From the core, the crust.
Well, there are a lot of women that will definitely give you pushback on that because there'll be a lot of women that'll watch this and say, I was with a guy when he had nothing. As soon as he got something, he left me for this, that, and the third. So what I believe more so what you said, but there's definitely still a faction and a good percentage of dudes that are leaving chicks once they get up. Once they get up.
Yes. Men, but they still appreciate the woman. I'm not saying they stay with them. Listen, no relationship is guaranteed. Relationships is built on timing and luck. That's it. Like, yo, no relationship is guaranteed. You can have what you perceive as the perfect man, and an experience will happen in his life that changes him. And now he not, or money comes into the equation, a lot of money at one time, and that changes a person. A lot of money at one time, a shift of broke to rich will change a person. You know what I mean? It will. And now he may be like, look, I want to experience money on this level. You see what I'm saying? It's about timing and luck. I say timing because, you know what I mean? You both have to be ready to be in a committed relationship at the same time. Everybody ain't there. You know what I mean? Like some men ain't ready when they 22 years old. Some men ain't ready when they 26 years old. Some men ain't ready when they 36 years old.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly why I didn't kill Martin Luther King. Because this euphemism. Of course, no, because, you know, I was looking at Selma, and it was two movies. Malcolm X. When they made the comment in Malcolm X, when they said, compared to King, this guy's a monk. And I didn't understand what that meant at the time. Then I asked older cats, like, what did they mean by that? They was like, nah, Martin Luther King, pretty much dummy terms, he was ripping and running. Most famous relationship that got out there was he was dealing with Mahalia Jackson. But what did she sing? She sung a lot of things. She's a gospel singer or whatever. And it was rumored that the day he got assassinated, he had just spoke to her. She was supposed to sing at the church the next day a song, Take My Hand, Precious Lord. I say all that to say, at the end of Selma, Martin Luther King died when he was 39. Was assassinated at 39. They said he was in the civil rights fight for 15 years. I was like, so he was 24. Famous. There's no social media, but it was a different kind of fame back then. He's not just known, that's just MLK from Georgia. No, he was known in the world.
Yeah.
Because he was made at 24. Look at our 24-year-old rappers now.
They dying.
They're dying, and they don't even they're forcing their fame or their notoriety through social media.
Yeah.
He was known throughout the world just because of who he was and how his name was. That was the ultimate level of my name rings bells. But he was a young man. He got married. He had a doctorate. Like a lot of great things with him. But he was still a young man. He's running around the country, this is young Jesse Jackson, young Al Sharpton, young Ralph Abernathy, just the list can go on.
Getting busy,
and when chicks is like, so what hotel y'all staying in? You know we coming through the rain. You know what I'm saying? That's why that picture where he's playing pool, everybody makes jokes of it and everything. He was a young man.
Yeah.
He was a young man. He handled his business, but he was still a young man. How many times he got Coretta Scott, she's home.
Yeah.
They like, yo, Martin, Laverne, those names back then. I think I didn't want to use Marilyn because that was my mother's name. But it's definitely, I'm pretty sure he had a Marilyn. You know what I'm saying, with him. And Marilyn and Laverne.
Laverne is an old name. Marilyn,
Laverne. Play this. You imagine Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, and Al Sharpton and them, and they like, yo, who's that on the phone? He was like, yo, that was Laverne, Marilyn, and Hattie. They was short. Yo. And Hattie, they talking about coming through. What you want Martin Luther King to do?
Hattie coming through is crazy.
What you want Martin Luther King to do? Let them know. They know. They come over. You know I mess with Corey. Who's Corey? Coretta Scott. Well, we good. All right, you keep this shit between us. Look here, I'll be back down to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? But I say all that to say, he was a young man. He had his head on straight where it needed to be, but he was still a young man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how that one went. I was looking at somebody. It's easier, and it was a young woman. She said it's easier to spoil men than it is to spoil women. And I was like, thank you. I don't even know how that's even a debate. That's not even something where you're like, well, it can be equally. Get out of here. Because what a guy covets in terms of being spoiled, a lot of times it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money. Now, we'll appreciate not picking up a tab. We'll appreciate some shoes bought. I'm just going into menial things like that. But we'll appreciate that. But I think the guy that actually really sits there and be like, demanding. For example, I'm not a guy that demands that it's a hot meal on the stove every time I come home. Because a lot of times I cook for myself.
Right.
Not because she's not willing to. It's just I'm good. I don't even know what kind of day you had. But I say all that to say, if there's times where I'm kind of I'm thinking of this tomorrow or something like that, giving a heads up, a meal or something, and the meal is prepared, the kid is taken care of, put in the bed, we got other rooms and stuff. It's okay, I can appreciate being catered to.
Right.
Like that. And you don't have to do a whole lot, because a lot of times just being there and in the moment is good enough. Because I ain't gonna front, dating is kind of, I don't want to take it to dating because we still talk about being spoiled. But dating and activities, that's cool to get out the house, you dress up and all. I get all that. But you find yourself a woman that you can have a good time with in your house. Fellas, I think you found the one. You found the one if you can do that. And I think women need to find the guy that they can have minimal good time with. Because my thing is this: once you put money to it, it's an activity. You see what I'm saying? It's an activity, and your fun and enjoyment can't come from the level of money you spend for this activity to make that activity the best thing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like that. And I don't think, 'cause I know you want to jump in, I don't think people put enough stock into that kind of understanding.
Well, I don't think they put enough stock into it, because I disagree. I think it's harder to spoil a man. It is cheaper to spoil a man, but it takes physical effort to spoil a man. To spoil a woman, it takes money. Here, go buy this. Let me take you here. Let's go over here. Let me buy you this bag. Let me do that. It's easy if you got money. That's easy. A man, it physically, okay, let me rub your back. You have to physically do things. Oh, you appreciate some head. Let me give you some head. Oh, you want me to rub your feet? Let me rub your feet. Hey, I just washed and folded your clothes for you. You see what I'm saying? Women is cheaper. It don't cost nothing, but it is cumbersome. It's physical. We like physical acts. You see what I'm saying? Wash my back in the shower. All these things that we covet as she the one. But it's physical. It's not just men. I think we have it easy if we have money. That's why men get so mad, because most people ain't rich. Most people ain't millionaires. You know what I mean? But if you are, hey man, you could come home to a bed of roses. You could, this room over here, let me fly you out here. Let's do all these things. And women eat that stuff up.
But you can do that. You can do that on your level, though. I'm not saying your level. What I'm saying is, you don't have to be a millionaire to do those kind of things. I think it's more, things have to be more thought-provoking for that level of spoiling. Because like I said, even like when you said things like, okay, bed of roses, you could do that.
Right.
Get a hotel room. It don't have to be the Four Seasons.
Right, but this is all things that you can buy. You see what I'm saying? A woman has to kind of understand their man and the things that he specifically likes. You see what I'm saying? Like some men don't like their feet rubbed. Some men, hey man, you come home from a long day of work, you've been on your feet all day, sit back, let me rub your feet. You know what I mean? Let me rub your back. You know what I mean? Hey man, hey man, the shower is going. It's already ready for you. Go ahead and do this. Some men like they clothes laid out for the. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to specifically know your man and then physically do things. You see what I'm saying? Men, we just got to spend money. That's all.
So you said, so basically your whole thing is, it's just easier for us to do it for them if we got money.
If we got money,
it's harder for them because they have to physically do things like that. Yes. I don't know. I can go for that, but I really can't because it's like, yo, I wouldn't say it's harder for them because the one thing I think you left out is the fact that a lot of things you named with that, those are nurturing type of things, and women are natural nurturers.
Right.
So that's secondhand nature to them. So I don't think that's why.
It's secondhand to a good woman. It's secondhand to a good woman. That's why men covet good women. We like women that are nurturers. Everybody ain't a nurturer, man. Some women just want you to give, and they don't want to give anything. You see what I'm saying? Some women are really natural givers, nurturers, thoughtful. Whatever you need, they provide. You know what I mean?
I would have to go through my mental Rolodex. I don't think I've ever really dealt with an irrational, selfish woman. Like I don't think I really have. And why I'm saying that is because
I definitely have.
I think I might have in terms of that's who they are. But I'm saying for me, I don't think I've dealt with them because I don't think I gave them a chance to even be selfish when it comes to me. If that makes any sense. Like your personal traits can be your personal traits. But what do they always say? People treat you how you allow them to.
Right.
I don't think I've ever allowed a woman to be that narcissistic and selfish that she's never even felt that she can get that kind of behavior off when it came to me. Now, I'm pretty sure they might have very well have done it to other guys. And I'm not saying there's nothing special about me. What I'm saying is it's what I didn't allow.
Right, but it's a spectrum though. So like I've never dealt with a woman that's just like, I'm never going to do anything for you. You got to do everything for me. But I have dealt with a woman that was more inclined to take than to give. You see what I'm saying? She wanted me to do the things for her. And all of the things that I wanted, she felt like was just a chore and didn't really have to. I'm a woman. You're supposed to do this. You know what I mean? Now, I'm me, so she did those things, but it just wasn't natural for her. You see what I'm saying? You could tell that she ran over a few men before me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, and I could tell early that this really wasn't going to be a relationship for me. You see what I'm saying? This wasn't really going to be that for me because I need a woman that's going to take care of me. Like I am spoiled. Like I am a baby at home. 100% a baby, and I get taken care of 100% at home. Like I don't.
Hold up. All right. If that's what you're saying, you're at home.
Yes.
Was it always like that? Hold up. It's a. I'm not finished asking. Mm-hmm. Is it based on where you're at now in life? Now, I understand you're married. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about how I just try to give it a blank slate.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm trying to ask, so were you always like that regardless of where you were at financially in life? Because being a baby requires, there's a lot of things that is not ever going to be on her plate. So that kind of allows you to be the baby because you look like you need to take care of me, and I could be interpreting this wrong. You need to be taking care of me because all this other stuff is taken care of. You don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to use your own money, Cole. You know what I'm saying, like that. So is it based off that?
No, so my thing is, I wouldn't be married if my wife didn't take care of me the way she took care of me before we was married. And before we were married, I was broke. Just gonna be real. Like, I ain't had no money. You know what I mean? Like I ain't had no money. But at every stage of my life when I got money, I've always taken care of my my wife, then girlfriend. You see what I'm saying? I've always taken care of her. And though we didn't have a lot, it was a period where she didn't work. You know what I mean? And I paid all the bills. And I wasn't making no real money, but, we was living at our level. You see what I'm saying? And I was always taken care of. Always. I'm a proponent of that. I would not have been married. I was in a relationship with chicks, and I wasn't thinking about getting married. You see what I'm saying? I would not be married if I wasn't spoiled. I need to be spoiled. Like, you need to take over for my mother. Like, you're taking over. You see what I'm saying? I have a good mother. I'm not, like, my mom was the truth. Like, you have some big shoes to fill if you want me to take care of you. You see what I'm saying? And my mom said that too. I asked my mom why she never really got in a serious relationship after she separated from my dad. She separated from my dad when I was 9.
Okay.
And I don't think I was expecting this answer. But she said because there was no man that would take care of me like your father took care of me. Like, she said, and he wasn't shit as far as, fidelity, and he wouldn't stop drinking. And wouldn't stop drinking, but I was always taken care of. And she said financially, she said he would just give me the money, all of it. And he was like, I never have to worry about being protected, any of that. See, nobody, he said, and she said, even when we weren't together, he still took care of me. You know what I mean? For your whole life, he took care of me. For his whole life. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Pops. But for his whole life, he continued to take care of my mom. So that was powerful to me, for me to hear. Because that's who I kind of get it from, although I'm not an alcoholic. Yeah, no, it was a lot to be said for that.
So this chick, I need to talk about this because I don't really know. I know why I stand with it, but I kind of want to hear your views. But before we get into the views, watch this clip with Brittany Renner when she was on Shannon Sharp's podcast.
So, because my dating pool is, my
expansive.
God, impressive, expansive. I've had sex with 35 guys. Okay?
Whew. Oh, Lord.
Impressive isn't the word. So if I'm judged for
Anybody else need a shot of this?
if I'm judged for having great taste.
We are in the bar, so help yourself. We got this for the next hour.
So, Brittany Renner revealed on Shannon Sharp's podcast that she slept with 35 men. And women and men alike, the internet, they've been kind of torn because some people are championing it. Some people are saying, ugh, what are you doing? Brittany Renner is 31 years old, and she slept with 35 men. Now, of course, by simple math, first off, she's not sleeping with people with 1 through 10 and all that stuff. So, of course, this is when she gets older. She's a internet personality. She's dealt with powerful men in professional sports, actors, and all this other stuff. These dudes aren't doing all this flying out and hanging out, and sex is not involved. So you kind of, if this is where she was going with it and how she was getting to the bag, and I don't think it was more so just for the money, but opportunities and the resources that came with dealing with these men, I don't really think 35 is too bad of a number. Now, what makes it look bad, I guess in people's eyes, and I'm only guessing, I want to see, I really want to hear what you're saying about it, is because people are assuming those 35 are only celebrities and entertainers, because she's had a life before that. You know, it's like that. Like, it's some corny dude right now that's 29, 28, or 30, whatever, and he's like, man, I used to smack up on this
she did
shit.
the breakdown. She said she slept with like 5 regular dudes.
So 30 athletes.
or people,
entertainers,
dudes with money.
And okay, bet. Well, I don't think she's allowing the box to depreciate in terms of that was her go-to.
Right.
Because she was getting money from it. I'm also not a means justify the ends, you know what I'm saying, type person. What I'm saying is, this is the reality that she chose to live in.
Yes.
You see the cover of our book, judge this cover. She's in a doggy style type position with an apple. I don't understand what the apple is, but you know, whatever. Guess it's a play on give the teacher an apple and all this other stuff. And that's her. She's naked on the cover, and she said it's not a Superhead type of book. She didn't bash Superhead because she was like, nah, I read her book. She's smart, this, that, and the third. But it's pretty much, she didn't use any names in the book as well. She didn't put anybody, she didn't blow anybody up. And I think she did that in reverse of what Superhead did. And she explained that because the names don't really make the story regardless.
Right.
That's just gossip at that point. And my thing is this is the life she chose and how she's moving. I'm really not going to kill her for it, because if she's getting out of it what she feels she needs to get out of it, who am I to say anything? But what's your take on that?
It's gonna sound bad, but
Say it.
when I first saw it, when she said 35, I was like, duh. Like, so? Like, I just assumed from her public perception that she was out here fucking. Like, that was just an assumption of mine. You see what I'm saying? 35, to me, from her public perception, wasn't really that bad. At 35, if she start fucking at 20, that's like 3 or 4 dudes a year. You see what I'm saying? And she probably started fucking before 20. You see what I'm saying? She was probably having sex before 20. So, I mean, and the reality is that 35, the bulk of it probably happened within like a 4 or 5 year span. You know, she was in her 20s going crazy. You know what I mean? And she was dealing with rich dudes that was kind of showing her a life that she probably wasn't really used to. And, you know, she got enamored, she got hooked, and she was in it. You know what I mean? Youth is wasted on the young. Like, yo, to me, she lived it up. She was having a ball. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Now, I did see her on another show talking about it's hard to get a man. But it's like, hey, yeah, it's going to be hard to get a man with the way you moved publicly in your 20s. You know what I mean? You're still a beautiful woman. You'll probably get one. But yeah, it's kind of hard. You can't have it both ways. It's going to be kind of hard to take you serious. You know what I mean? When you was, you know, ripping and running in your 20s with all these famous people, you know, with all these A, B, C, D, E, F, G list celebrities. You know what I mean? And you was doing your thing. But you make it harder for yourself. You know what I mean? Not impossible, but harder.
She makes it harder for herself. She's gonna need a strong man. And mentally.
Or a weak
strong.
one.
Yes, you're right. Life's about spectrums. She's either gonna have a very strong man or a very weak one.
Mm-hmm.
Because to deal with a woman and you go into these events and dudes are looking at you like, oh, he wifed that up, because that's a thing. That's a real thing. And I hear women talk about it a lot. But what about when it's the guy that done slept with half the damn industry and everything? Our wiring is totally different.
It is.
So, of course, it may not be fair to that woman. And that woman that can't deal with the guy that slept with all these women, by all means, don't deal with them. Because if you can't deal with that, that's what comes along with it, and that's it. But I find it that most women can and will deal with the dude forget sleeping with him, that's desired by many women.
Yes, women want a man that's desirable, that people desire. And that man has sex with women. I mean, I don't even understand how this is a debate. Like, most women don't want a man with one body.
Facts.
You don't want a man that nobody wants to have sex with. Like, that's weird. Like, you just should assume that your man that you want, that is handsome and confident in those things, you would have to assume that, he was doing some fucking out here. I mean, you would just have to assume that. Now as far as a woman, you said she would need a strong man to deal with her. So my only retort to that is, I don't think it makes you weak if you don't want to deal with a woman who has publicly been out there for dating and having sex with celebrities on a serious basis. I don't think you're weak if you don't want that to be your wife. I just don't. I think that, now I do think a weak man would look past all of that, all of her transgressions, and say, she's beautiful, I'm not going to get anybody more beautiful than her, I'll look past all of that.
That's a certain level of being enamored at that point. Okay.
Right.
So it's definitely a level of being enamored at that point. So I got friends that been married, and it's like, everything's about a checkered past. And I think that's just where it's at, and what you consider what a checkered past is.
But for men, I think it's the publicly thing. You see what I'm saying? You can have a checkered past, but if everybody don't know, it's not that deep. But for men, it's a little different when I'm dealing with the girl that everybody knows for her checkered past. You see what I'm saying? So like I told you, like, men have fragile egos. All of them have fragile egos. You know what I mean? So like, most men don't want to deal with the girl that everybody has dealt with. I can look past one or two, but if you're known for everybody, and even if I know you got a checkered past, but everybody else don't know, I may be able to deal with that. But because everybody else knows, and if I'm successful and I'm confident and stuff like that, hey, I can get another chick that's just as beautiful that don't have this public checkered past. Like, why would I settle for this? You know what I mean?
I see there's finally been a break in the murder of Tupac Shakur.
After how many years?
It only took 27 years. But that's the thing about murder. There's no statute of limitations. KVD of MOB, and he's been doing crazy interviews with Vlad and all kind of other people, pretty much chronicling what happened the night Tupac was killed. Mm-hmm. First off, he already put himself in the car. Like he's never hid from it. I think he was able to operate for all these years for the simple fact, I guess in his mind, and he should know because he's a street dude. Dog, if you in the car, whoever's in the car is in it. Mm-hmm. But he's now the only one living from the people in the car. The actual shooter, Orlando, the one who Tupac punched in the face, and then he came back spraying or whatever. He got killed in something unrelated. That ain't he got killed because he had a beef with somebody else over some money and something else. So it wasn't even like it was retribution for Pac. So and the other two dudes got killed on some other these street dudes. You know, this the life they live. But Keefy D was still out here. So I'm trying to wonder, is this he's the last one alive, so let's close the case. So this is no longer a cold case.
My
type
thing
of situation.
It don't even really make sense to me. Like, this is 27 years later. He lived a whole nother lifestyle, a lifetime as a free man. Mm-hmm. If he had anything to do with this, you know what I mean? And you know, so it's like, I'm with you. Like, what's the point? I mean, I get it. You want some type of retribution, but the other two guys is gone. I guess he out here doing interviews and they don't like that. I don't know, but rest in peace, Pac. But this was 27 years late. That's how I feel.
I'm saying, so we're going to eventually. This is how you're going to know if it's some government conspiracy and all this other stuff. I bet not here in 2-3 months we done found Biggie's killer or whatever. Because I'm looking like, they just decided, you know what, we just closing both these down and try to give family members some.
He only been charged too. He's not convicted.
Exactly, but they're gonna probably hit him with the you done live 27 years free, so you're gonna probably do these last 30 with us. So we gave you time to get it off or whatever. So you're going to hear free Keefy D and all this other stuff. He wasn't the shooter. Like that's facts. He just wasn't the shooter unless he really was the shooter. And he just threw it on Orlando, and Orlando just tacked it on his jacket at the time. That's the only way I can see a crazy twist coming from it, where he's like, I'm the one that really shot Pac. I did all the stuff.
That's
like
crazy.
On his Scooby-Doo. And I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. But you would have got away with it if you stopped talking about it. But that's what's making me feel he probably had a little more involvement, because he probably was like, look here, I didn't pull the trigger. Yeah, I was there. And he's even made a lose like, well, you know, we was looking for him, but I ain't saying we want to kill him. Yeah, you would kill us though. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. So I don't think it's going to be a long, drawn out trial or anything. I think he's probably going to get some joints for this, and they're going to close the case finally. Tupac's mother, Afeni, she's deceased now.
Yeah.
So it's like, and Tupac didn't have no kids, even though I'm still looking for Godson Elijah and little girl Corinne. I'm telling you, I think people need to find them, because he shouted them out on one of his biggest records ever, and nobody, they gotta be grown now. Like, they grown. And I'm like, am I the only one that wants to meet little Godson Elijah and little girl Corinne? Look here, little Godson Elijah and little girl Corinne. Get in contact with Ocean's View on Instagram. We need to hear your story. We need to know why Tupac shouted y'all out. Clearly, y'all had some space in his mind, and people are just sweeping it under the rug. Keefy D's gone. Little Godson Elijah, little girl Corinne. I want to get up with y'all. What about, just saying. Yes.
Yo, I don't even know if they real people, yo.
They are real people. See, then you say that. Yo. Because that's the crazy swag. You know what I'm saying? You come up like, I'm little Godson Elijah. Nothing. It's like, okay. I promise you, I'll tell you this. Lil godson Elijah and little girl Corinne will get verified on Instagram if they show up.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Quick, they'll be like, oh, that's y'all? Boop. That blue check will be right there. So, but that clip that you showed me where the guy and I guess his girlfriend, they both have kids. He has a son.
Yeah.
She has a daughter, but they're dealing with each other. So that would make it a blended family or relationship, so to speak, and whatever. Mm-hmm. They're inside there, and she took them there to buy her daughter some shoes. Mm-hmm. He's recording. You know, I don't know how staged it was, but he's recording. Mm-hmm. He says, Bob, can you buy my son some sneakers? And hands him some Jordans, of course. And she was like, I don't have enough money for that. And
right.
It was a little more conversation prior to that, but people got upset. After you showed me the clip, I was really waiting to see some ignorance on our part.
Right.
Like, well, I'm not buying it. That's your son. This is my daughter. And I was waiting for her to have a retort like when he said, well, I bought your daughter's shoes before. So what? You the man. I was expecting that. She didn't give off any of that. She literally just said, I don't have enough money to buy that. Maybe I can get them next time. She even offered the following time.
Right.
But, you know, people just had something to say. People were like, oh, leave her. She's selfish. What did you think about that clip?
I think that I hope it was staged and I hope it wasn't real because he looked like the nuttiest nigga in the world. He is in there with his son. She is, let me preface it by saying this. Right. She clearly looks like she's going to buy her daughter a couple pair of sneakers, a couple pair of shoes. And she definitely looks like that's what she came in there to do.
Yeah.
So in the midst of her doing that, he says, hey, can you buy my son some sneakers? She like, I don't have enough money for that. Then his son hands him the Jordans. Mm-hmm. Say, can you buy my son some sneakers? She like, they almost $200. Like, I don't have money for that right now. You know what I mean? And it's like a 6-minute video. He commenced to keep asking her for 6 minutes. And then he tell his son, oh, that's okay. I promise you I'll get you something when I get paid. So his son looks up at him and says, well, when do you get paid? This is the craziest shit I ever seen in my life. It's no way in the world that I, a man, me, it's just my morals and my stuff with me, would ever go to a mall with my girl when I was broke. Ever. And there's definitely no way that I would ever go to a mall with my child when I was broke. So they can be looking up at me, the guy the man that they look up to that's supposed to provide for them, and I have to look at them and say, I ain't got it. What kind of that's crazy. And then asking your girl to buy your son some shoe, like that's crazy to me. And I understand people will say, well, he said he bought her daughter some shoes before. Fine. That's cool. I get it. But I'm just not going to be in there begging nobody for anything for my child. I never have, and I never will.
The problem is this. With these stage scenarios and all that.
Right.
They're put up there to evoke emotions and conversations and stuff like that. So I get all that for that. But at the same time, in real life, if you bought her daughter some shoes, not a tit for tat. Right. You went there to buy. I'm pretty sure it wasn't even the same scenario. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we're going to get your daughter this, that, third. But for the son to be like, when? Like, that was a little too much. Mm-hmm. And you went there with her to buy her daughter some shoes. Y'all knowingly knew we're going to the mall. I have to buy whatever the daughter's name is, some shoes. And like you said, you went there broke. This is the whole thing too. Because this is something you said opened the door for this. And this ain't a long, drawn-out conversation. I told a kid the other day, he was like, he was talking about how much. He said $100 is not a lot of money. Now this kid is 13 years old. I said, you got $100 right now? He said, why would I have $100 on me? I said, because you can't say something's small and it's not no money, and you don't even have that.
Right.
So I said, do you have $20 on you? He was like, why would I have $20 on me? I said, first off, because you're a young man. And I was like, men always have some form of money on them.
Yes.
And I've got backlash on this before because people like to make themselves bigger than what they are all the time. Especially when we make certain comments like, well, I don't even carry cash on me. It's only cards. Let me tell you like this. I was raised to always have some type of cash on you. Not by my mother, but mostly by the men that was around me. So they said men always have some type of money on them. Now, when you know why people like to say, I don't carry cash on me? Because wealthy and rich people don't really carry cash on them.
Right.
Because you're not walking around with $20,000 on you. Even though you can, we've seen it. We've seen the Floyds and all them do that stuff. But for the most part, Floyd, I don't believe Floyd Mayweather gets up and grabs a stack of cash. Now, granted, he's Floyd Mayweather. He walk around with cards. He walk around with cash. He can do whatever he want. He got security. We get all that. But I'm saying for us working class men, the real reason why I was told you have to have cash on you, because outside of just being a man, no deals come off of a card. Like, you don't get a deal with a card. You get a deal with actual cash. Don K made a comment before on, and I hope the real Don K made the comment, but I know I was watching the movie. He said a person to take $100,000 before they take your $1 million check. And I understood what he meant by that. And I was like, that's true. Because a lot of times we talk about...
Nah, broke person. Because I'm taking $1 million check. I'm definitely taking $1 million check.
Depending on... No, but I think that whole saying was based off of the here now.
Cash in hand is worth more.
Cash in hand. Exactly. Because...
I understand.
First of all, a lot of people in that movie Dodgeball, when he was like, you ever seen $100,000? He said some things get lost in translation. Most people think $100,000 is this, elaborate amount of money. This is about it. This is about that. This is about $100,000. We talk about real crisp $100 bills from the bank. We're not talking the peel off. It's been in your pocket. It's got a little bumpy. When you get dollar bills from the bank and they're flat or they're so thin, it's ridiculous. And that's why it's like that. But I say all that to say, men, we have to carry ourselves as men all the time. And what that dude did, staged or not, that wasn't a man move. He didn't really make himself look any cool or any victim. You made yourself look like as you would say, a cold sucker, honestly, because your child is there who's clearly a lot older than that little girl was. And you up there talk about, see you next Friday. And then you got the nerve to tell the young lady, oh, we didn't have to come with you to the mall. Negro, you knew you didn't have no bread. You shouldn't have walked with her to the mall. And you should never put her on the spot like that. And with that, I want to give props to Willie Negro. He did a great job today controlling this episode. And that's what the team is about. And we're going to continue to bang things out. We got 2 real good interviews coming at you soon. Subscribe to Ocean's View, Ocean149, or on Instagram, or at Ocean's View. Willie Ray on IG. And we're going to get up out of here. Peace.
Peace.